What if the roles you choose in a fantasy world weren't just classes, but reflections of ancient truths about your psyche? Metaphor ReFantazio doesn't just give you power, it asks you who you are. And Carl Jung, one of the most well-known psychologists, might have been one of its biggest influences. In Metaphor ReFantazio, archetypes are the source of power that allows you to use certain abilities. They are a type of transformative magic that turns you, and others you form bonds with, into powerful fighters. With that in mind, let's go ahead and break down what each of these archetypes means in Jungian psychology and how these archetypes may reflect the world as well as the classes in Metaphor. We first learn about archetypes through the Academy, a magical library of knowledge, and in a way it mirrors Carl Jung's idea of the collective unconsciousness, a deep mental library full of ancient patterns and instincts we're all born with. Jung focused on 4 core archetypes: the self, the shadow, the persona, and the anima or animus. So let's go over each one and how these are related to the themes in Metaphor. First, we have the self. So the self reflects your true whole self, who you really are beneath all the roles, fears, and expectations. It's the version of you that comes forward when you stop hiding, stop pretending, and start accepting every part of yourself through all your strengths and even your flaws. Jung believed that becoming yourself is the ultimate goal of personal growth. It's not about becoming perfect, but about becoming whole. The seeker archetype would probably fit best here, as the seeker pursues identity, truth, and symbolizes the player's psychological journey. The shadow. When it comes to the shadow, it is a part of you that holds everything you hide or reject. Your anger, your selfishness, and even your desires that you don't want to admit to yourself. It's the darker side of your personality, not evil, but uncomfortable. This is the side we push aside, but the more we tend to ignore it, the more it controls us from the background. Jung believed that to grow as a person, you have to face your shadow, not to destroy it, but to accept it, learn from it, and understand it. Because if you don't face your shadow, it might end up destroying you. In Metaphor, the archetype known as the faker fights through illusion, inner chaos, and deception. But it's more than just a gameplay style. It might represent the parts of ourselves we deny, suppress, or fear. Exactly what Jung described as the shadow. The persona. Those of you who are familiar with Persona 5 know that the characters wear masks in order to hide themselves, and that idea comes from Carl Jung. Jung believed that while we all need a persona in order to survive in the world, problems begin when we confuse that mask with who we really are, however, because if all you ever show is the mask, the rest of you gets buried underneath. In contrast, the shadow is the darker part of ourselves we often try to hide. However, when it comes down to the persona, the clearest possible parallel is the masked dancer. Why? It represents a stylized projection of identity by literally using masks as an accessory. It can change its skills and resistances to adapt as needed. This keeps the opponent on edge, or in general, questions someone to what they are truly hiding. Finally, there is the Anima and the Animus. However, when it comes down to this one's a little bit more abstract, so I'll try to explain it as best as I can. Carl Jung believed that we all carry a hidden inner version of the opposite gender within us. If you're a man, that inner self is called the Anima, your unconscious feminine side. If you're a woman, it's the Animus, your unconscious masculine side. But it's not about gender, it's about balance. These inner opposites represent the qualities we push down or denied in ourselves, like emotion, intuition, logic, or strength. Jung believed that confronting and understanding your Anima or Animus is a key part of becoming whole, because your true self includes both sides, not just the one you show. Kinda like in Persona or Metaphor, the other part of yourself, the summon reflects a hidden part of you. Your Anima or Animus show up in the roles you're drawn to but don't fully understand. I would go on to say that the Jungian archetype, the Anima, would be in relation to the healer, the mage, or even the summoner. These roles are all about nurturing intuition and spiritual or emotional energy. They're often more passive or indirect, but deeply impactful, symbolizing empathy, restoration, grace, and connection. For the Animus, which is more on the masculine side, I would say it falls under the commander, knight, or the warrior category. These are structured, directive, and take on traditionally assertive or protective roles that represent outward control, leadership, and decisive action. It might be a bold take, but maybe in metaphor, you're not just building a team, you're building a psyche. The archetype you choose isn't just your class, it's your question, your conflict, your reflection. Maybe the archetypes you avoid say just as much as the ones you choose. Are you drawn to strength, but uncomfortable with vulnerability, or do you lean into intuition while rejecting aggression? That tension between sides might just be your anima or animus trying to speak to you. While this video focused more so on the concepts of Jung's 4 main archetypes, there are others that can reflect a more mythological or symbolic sense, such as from the hero to the trickster, which aren't just characters, they are patterns. Metaphor doesn't just build a fantasy world, it builds a full psychological one. Let me know if you like this video in the comments down below, and if you would like for me to do a video on the remaining archetypes, or if there is another game you would like for me to do a psychological or philosophical breakdown on, let me also know in the comments down below. And if you happen to enjoy the video, as I said, please give this video a like, it always helps out the channel, and if you like what you see, subscribe, it's free. Thank you very much, guys, I really do appreciate it, and as always, think deeper, play smart.